why is a Conservative government moving this legislation?
That's a bit of a mystery, Mark. I've been trying to puzzle over that one myself, and I don't understand why a group of Conservatives with a majority of 80 would be essentially handing a devastating weapon to their political opponents. Because make no mistake, the people who will be taking advantage of our new regulated internet, in which internet service providers who post harmful content risk being fined up to 10% of their annual global turnover, the people taking advantage of that and forcing social media companies to take down supposedly harmful content will be political activists claiming to be acting on behalf of vulnerable people. It'll be because they want to protect vulnerable people, they'll have to remove hate speech and misinformation, by which they mean anything they find remotely disagreeable or that poses them any kind of political challenge. That's the reality. Why the government can't see it is a mystery.
Well, they must be able to see at a certain level that it's just going to ensure that even more than presently, almost any matter of public policy is framed in left-wing terms. I mean, I know Boris isn't really much of a committed Conservative, and nor are most of those around him. But he must see that it's actually harmful to Conservative prospects. So you'd think a sense of self-preservation would kick in with those guys.
I think the only explanation I can think of, Mark, for why they have such an enormous blind spot about the political risks associated with this bill is that lots of Conservative MPs are themselves abused online. They get an unending stream of abuse, Tory scum, child killers, pedos, whatever it is, coming at them 24/7 on Twitter and on Facebook. And they think that they need to be protected from this harmful content, and this bill will protect them from this kind of abuse. That's the only reason I can think of as to why they're so enthusiastic about handing this weapon to their opponents.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because essentially they think this is a way of protecting elites, powerful figures, from being excoriated on the internet, and they think they're part of that elite so that they'll benefit from it. But the concept they're advancing to ensure that, this one of legal but harmful, is very strange. So it'll be legal for me to say something to you in the front parlour of your house, but it won't be legal for me to post that on the internet.
That's right. What you can legally type, you won't be able to say online. This concept of legal but harmful content is, as you say, extremely worrying. So it won't be enough to comply with the new rules for social media companies to remove unlawful content. I think we can all live with the idea that they'll be under more pressure, that they'll have to give more priority to removing unlawful content that is both unlawful and harmful, particularly harmful to children. I don't think any of us have a real issue with that. The thing which is really alarming about this bill is that it will force social media companies to remove what the government is calling legal but harmful content. Now, we don't know what the legal but harmful content is going to be, because that's going to be brought forward not in this bill, but in supplementary legislation, in a statutory instrument brought forward by Nadine Dorries, the Secretary of State at the Department for Culture, Media and Sport. Now, even if you trust Nadine Dorries not to be too censorious in what she's asking social media companies, what legal content she's asking them to remove on pain of being fined 10% of their annual global turnover, which incidentally is more than $10 billion if you're Facebook. Even if we trust Nadine not to be too over the top, the bill creates a mechanism for future secretaries of state to define this legal but harmful content. Legal but harmful to adults that social media companies will be under this enormous pressure to remove. Can we trust Chris Bryant and Dawn Butler not to overreach. When they're the secretaries of state at DCMS, if God forbid Labour wins the next general election, this is an enormous hostage to fortune. Another way in which this bill is essentially handing a loaded gun to the enemies of every Conservative in the land.